Greetings of the day. In this video, we'll be looking at another trait of being a good teacher. This trait that we try to inculcate will help us command and have control over the budding engineers or future citizens or future engineers of the country. Might be future doctors too. Like this rule can be applied to any profession. If you are trying to groom someone for that specific purpose. So, based on my experience, which I feel had been very successful, and like I could taste the fruit out of that, I'm trying to share that experience with the globe. In order to become a very good teacher, there are multiple traits that you need to inherit either or try to follow so that it not only grooms yourself but also grooms the pupil who are under your control. One such is identifying the difference between the act of being strict and acting strict. Like nowadays, we could see the online sessions going on, and then there are many classes around in the offline sessions where the teacher behaves strict with the students partially, but there is also another way of teacher not at all being strict. So let's not come into any consensus or controversy of the behavior or the action of a teacher. The point here that I highlight is there is often a complaint from a teacher telling that, or they try to communicate to their colleagues that a specific boy or a girl is misbehaving in the class often. So, how can we eliminate or abolish such kind of a behavior? Which means the behavior of the pupil inside. The first thing that we can do is not to communicate such happenings inside the class to someone else. The basic thumb rule is anything that happens inside that four wall is happening under your supervision. Whatever you try to say that is happening inside the class to a third party, it's like using a toothpick inside your teeth and trying to smell it out. Excuse me, you cannot just, whatever you're trying to blow it up, whatever is happening inside the class to someone else is like you are giving a picture of your inability indirectly. If everything is under your supervision, it means that they should be under your control. It should be inside your palm. The fist is there to keep everything under your control. So, how are you going to do it? Are you going to act strict by keeping your face rugged, rude? Nothing of that sort. You needn't do that. A teacher's silence is more than enough to punish a student. But when will that silence be a tool of punishment? You will have to follow two important things inside the class that will keep the entire class under your control. And what are those things? One, in order to become a good teacher, we need to be a diplomatic human first of all. How can you be a diplomatic human? You need to be sympathetic and empathetic with the students' issues. No student inside the class is the same. They have their own way of being brought up. They have got their own problems. They are all teenagers. They have got their issues. Some might be falling into infatuation. Some might be into a financial crunch. Might be their parents would have been suffering. Someone would have got a health issue. Like many things, like all these factors would have got him into some psychological trauma. Some students, few students, would have been forced to take engineering or that specific profession out of force. So, what could be done in order to do that? Like whenever there is such a kind of a child inside the class, the first thing that you can do is that you can go and approach him. If he is mischievous, you can take him out of the class, talk to him, not more than a minute. You should not intervene into someone's personal unless you find the beat of his voice. From his voice, you must be able to understand if he is willing to open up or not. In a minute, a teacher will become a good psychiatrist. Talk to the student, understand his pulse, tell him that you would like to see what he wants to share and that you are ready to help him out with his problem if it is under his jurisdiction. So once you are trying to do that, the student will be in a wavering mood where he might or might not come to you. So you can have this approach for a while, but never share his personals to anybody. His problem is being shared to you and you can maintain it. So that is one approach. But there is a second approach that you can follow, which is very, very, very powerful tool. Let's assume that you have got 15 minutes of a lecture. Let's split that into three now. Three important zones. First 10 minutes, next 30 minutes, and the last 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes, let us divide it into again 5 and 5. First 5 minutes is going to be a monologue, and the second 5 minutes is going to be the dialogue. So the monologue, when you get into the session, you'll be wasting, you'll be spending, it's not wasting, I'm sorry, you'll be spending 10 to 20 seconds thanking the specific person, your example, your bus driver, your family members, or whoever it is, whoever would have been the reason behind you standing inside the class. The art of gratitude, you would have done that. Then you start with the global scenario. What is the global issues going on? Narrow down the topic and come down to the subject that you're going to deal with. Then be specific on some issue which is directly linked to that day's lecture. So in the 5 minutes, you are trying to tell them why this topic is part of your syllabus and why are you learning it. The next 5 minutes, leave the session to the class. Ask them what they know about it. Let them talk anything, relevant or irrelevant, but you are trying to break open the shackles of chain of them being not shy anymore. You are a keen watcher. A teacher is a watcher. You'll try to watch anybody inside the class, like everybody inside the class, and you will identify the curious minds, the brilliant minds, the innovative speakers, good orators. You'll get many different people over there, and that's where your skill is. You can note them down. After 5 minutes, you can tell them, you can appreciate them, telling them, yes, I could see that you people, most of them have known about the topic, or most of the people are a bit unaware of the topic, but still you are happy to share whatever you know. 30 minutes is your lecture. The day before the lecture, prepare it well so that you can present the 30 minutes in such a way that the student should be eager enough to wait for the next day, so that what your continuation of lecture is going to be. link it in a fashionized way. Like the pedagogic methodologies can be adopted inside. The last 10 minutes. That's one of the prime 10 minutes for a student's career, for your career, the department's career, as well as the institution career. In National Board of Accreditation, there are specific criterions hidden inside, where there is a specific point that you will have to crack through, which is content beyond syllabus. Yes, very powerful one. Like whatever topics you have taken is part of syllabus, but there is something that you can take out of it as a content beyond syllabus. You can either ask them to prepare a one-page abstract as part of an assignment. Ask them to submit it inside the Google Classroom that you have created. Announce an award that the best paper or the best one-page write-up will be rewarded. You need not spend too much. A 20 rupee to the maximum of 50 rupee. You are going to do it once in a week or twice in a week. So after all, it's going to be like 400 rupees inside that. Like you are like spending 400, you might feel, oh, that's big money. But imagine spending 400 rupees, the entire class is under your control now. The entire class, mean that half of the class will think or understand you as a good human and a good teacher. It's like an ant, right? Half of the ant is on the track towards you. What do you think will happen to the remaining ant? Obviously, they'll be psychologically forced to follow. That is how you bring them. Do these two things, right? Appreciate them inside the class for whatever activity they are doing. And the hidden third trait that you can do is being punctual. Be punctual inside the class, not only by lecturing. Sharp 15 minutes, finish it in 15 minutes. Done. It's over. Even if you have been in the midst of the class, don't borrow the next 5 minutes of the other class. No. Try to finish it. That's why I'm just asking you to finish 10:30 and 10 pattern. You can easily stop anywhere in the last 10. Right? And apart from that, being punctual, I meant, is whenever they have finished a test or whenever they have submitted an assignment, be prompt telling them that, yes, I will evaluate this and submit it at 10 o'clock on next Thursday or day after tomorrow or tomorrow. And when you say that, you be prompt in submitting that and distributing it back. When you're distributing it back to the students, tell them, see, I announced that I'll be doing it, I did it, this is the way of being punctual. I'm happy that most of them have been very punctual submitting the assignment on time. Those who haven't done, I would like to see what is your explanation of why you hadn't submitted it. Ask them, each and every one, during the break time or break. Tell them. You can come and tell me why you didn't submit it. You must not just leave them away for not submitting it. When you keep doing it and they start approaching you, you'll try to learn their pulse of it and have a habit of just following them through every semesters. That's the best approach. Take a batch. For first year, if you have taken, for example, like I have done this in one of my classes. In the first year, I took engineering graphics during the first semester. The second semester, I took engineering mechanics. Third semester, I dealt with them with engineering thermodynamics. Fourth semester, I handled heat and mass transfer. Fifth semester, gas dynamics and jet propulsion. Sixth semester, thermal engineering. Seventh semester, principles of management. Eighth semester, advanced IC engines. And I dealt them with their projects too. I had a complete control of my students inside the class till the end of the year, and to your surprise, I'll tell you that almost all of them have got placed and cleared their papers. Moreover, half of the class of those students whoever I have dealt with are still in touch with me. It's a simple way of doing it. I can confidently say that when you build up these traits, obviously your students will be the best ambassadors for the country, represent you into the public. They even remember you. One of the best gifts that you get is that they invite you to their wedding. Like I feel very proud, like I feel very proud when they invite me to the wedding. Though I'm in South Africa, I note them down and I wish them. That's the respect that you mutually give. Address them by the word sir, even though they don't expect it. Do that because they are future engineers. You do not know who might be the next president or prime minister of the country, next civil servant. We do not know that. So try to give them respect. Never mimic or mock at their questions. Thank them when they raise a question because he or she is the one who's making you to learn over the next few hours. If they raise a question, go back, tell them. Break your ego. You need to break your ego. Teacher must be a good learner. He must be a continual learner. Break the ego and tell in front of the class, yes, I'm sorry. I do not know the answer to your question, but I'll be very happy to go back, learn, and then come back to explain. That should be a good teacher. And we are all a good teacher. Go back, tell them before next class. Don't give them a commitment that in next 10 minutes you will be doing it. Before the next class, go back, search in Google, wherever, books, whatever it is. Understand the concept, make it simpler, give it in a paper, hand it over to him and tell him, thank you for making me learn it. I'm very happy, man, like I could do it. Do that. And that's how I had to achieve this position because the more the questions they posed during a specific subject, that made me learn more, and that helped me write papers to help me accomplish my PhD. So I thank all the students, whoever raised my questions. I thank all my teachers who gave me the basics. I thank my parents who patiently waited for me to earn the degree. They sacrificed many things. I thank my wife and son who have been the spine behind getting me this degree. Right? And I wish everybody would take this session a fruitful one and try to follow something. Like we are human. After all, a teenage person who attends a 15 minutes of a session will be able to grasp only 22% of whatever we deliver. As a grown up or a mature human, there are certain responsibilities inside, many roles that we need to carry over. So we'll be able to catch up with only 10% of that. And if that 10% is being followed, we become a successful human. Thank you so much. Much more comments are welcome. Have a great day. Bye.